What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, folks out there? Mr. Soul Lover Man. Mr. Soul Lover Man, we are back. It is Friday, all right. I hope everybody out there is doing great and amazing and all of that good stuff, man. And I hope that you're having a great summer. Seems like what is today? It's actually Friday the 13th, which is interesting. And there's a new moon, full moon out there. So yeah, man. So today we are going to today we're just going to go ahead and get straight into it. Today we're talking about the dead shall rise. So consequently, coincidentally, that is talking about all of the things that you have going on in your life, because it is time for those things that you felt didn't, it's time for you to get life back, into your life. Seriously. It's time to put yourself back into the equation. Seriously, man. It's time for you to put yourself back out there again. If you're not doing that, start doing that now. Things are things are really and truly about to shift, and not just shift, but shift very, very quickly. And thank you out there for tapping the screen and the hearts and all of that. So yeah, so things out there are about to shift quickly in your life, and yeah, so we're talking about the dead shall rise, ladies and gentlemen. And always remember, the power of life and death is in the tongue. I'm glad this little notebook is here. Let me see. So the power of let me grab my water. Give me a second. Okay, cool. I'm gonna need some more water. Hold on. All right, and we're back. Yeah, so we're talking about so the power of life and death is in the power of life and death is in the tongue. It's not necessarily what other people are saying around you. It's interesting. I was just watching a video, and they were saying, like, when people were saying, like, when they were younger, they would watch older people, like, pray all the time, and they just couldn't. The people were crazy. But the guy was like, there's nothing like getting older that'll activate your prayer life. And that is very or man, when I tell you if talking about a poster child for the spiritual and the prayer life, yeah, yes, charge me with that. Cause man, you need that blessing, you need that power, you need that you need that divine spiritual power over your life. You do, as we circumspectly walk through this valley of, but we shall fear no evil. Like, seriously. But again, life and death is in the power of the tongue. And if you're speaking negatively over your life right now, you're casting shadows, over yourself. You're really and truly casting shadows where people can't see you, people can't feel you. But it's really time for you to get out there. It is time for you to go. It's time for you to get out there. It's time for you to time for you to put yourself out there. To if in hold on. It's time for you to picture this as a bottle of champagne, and picture this as you winning, because that's naturally what it is. This is moving forward. You're moving. You're moving into intercessions where you're winning, and things are going to be very much so uniquely different, in your life. Like there's going to be from day to day, from week to week, you're going to see yourself elevating. That's what that is. You're going to really and truly you're going to really and truly and uniquely see yourself elevating to new heights, so to speak. And it is very important that you start to speak highly of yourself, what you're doing, who you are, where you're going, writing, you know, um, writing down the vision, using these full moons, new moons, to get yourself activated. Like seriously, using everything, using everything possible in your arsenal. Even when you find yourself transitioning to something new, and these new waves, these new activations, these new blessed scenarios in your life, you can, you're thankful, you're happy, you're joyful, you hey, what's going on, folks? Thanks for joining. You're prayerful, you're thankful, you're joyful, you're yeah, I'm getting that song. What's it? Lauren Hill, Joyful, Joyful Lord, we adore thee. Hearts, what is it? Hearts unfold like flowers before thee. Yeah, so it's like your heart is unfolding to new miraculous things, to new miracles. You're seeing your feet being planted on new foundations. These are going to be essentially the keys to your life. I see new doors that are being opened for you. You're moving forward into what is called your seasons of miracles. That's why we're talking about the dead shall rise, because you know you're casting out all of these negative things. You really and truly do have to walk around with your full armor on daily, because it is spiritual warfare out here. Just like you're discovering things, other people are discovering things also within the not just the natural but the supernatural. And a lot of people feel like they have like these whatever, and that they can just bring you down. And sometimes it may be true if your spiritual discernment isn't up. You have to watch who's around you, what you're saying around certain people, what they're saying around you. You have to have um your angels around you, if your ancestors around you. You have to have your spiritual protection up at all time. You really and truly you do. And it's very important, and it's very imperative that you do that, seriously, because even though when we move into the greater times, the fun times, and you've been putting in that work, and it is work. I was thinking about it the other day. When you look at the spiritual side of things, and when you're praying, and when you're manifesting, and when you're like chipping away at things daily, seriously, it is work, and it is very, very, very powerful work. It is very substantial, that oh, yeah. So I was talking to my homeboy yesterday, and man, we had a great conversation about how I was telling him, I was watching this video, and how people in your life, they'll, they for whatever reason, they won't call. Maybe I don't know, maybe let's say you move, or you're doing something different, you're moving different, and people won't call, and whatever. But that's cool. But I think that the people that you are really and truly close to, or were close to, that had a substantial part in your life. And I get it, at some parts in your life, everybody can't go with you. That's just what that is. It's cool. But although those that you deem like family, and people that you're supposed to be close to, and have that close relationship with, sometimes you wish that those people would, just pick up the phone and call you. Just say, hey man, how you doing? And just make sure that you're alive or something. You know what I mean? But beyond the internet and social media and all of that good stuff. But the preacher was saying that, the times that we're living in, how you're being transformed, how you're how naturally you're training in these spiritual seasons, in these spiritual sessions, that you're going to be needed. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, the Terminator movies. You're like John Connor, you're like Sarah Connor, in a sense. Like fighting against the Skynet, the rise of the machines. And they're gonna be like something. Oh no. They're really and truly going to be caught off guard. They're going to be like, well, what is going on in the world? What is going on? And all of this time, all of these years, you've been going through this, man. I think that's you've been going through this spiritual journey, and this spiritual way. Well, these spiritual journeys, you've been going through like these spiritual journeys, these spiritual awakenings, and they're gonna need you. That stuff that they deemed as, maybe I don't know. Maybe you're going to church a lot. Maybe you're, um, you know, maybe you discovered like the old, rediscovered the old ways of how your ancestors did things, and you you are like tapping into that, and you have a greater understanding of the secrets and the mysteries out here, and you know how to move and remove stuff, out of your life. And they look at you, and they're looking at the news, and they're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe the time. And you're like, I mean, so hey man, what are we eating for lunch? So it's because it's like you're moving. How you move is through the supernatural. How they move is probably just through the natural. People, they may go to church, but they they haven't been like washed, like what, whiter than snow, in a sense. You know what I mean? And they don't have what you have. And for whatever reason, they may look at you, oh, they're weird, but don't, because it's almost like what's coming, and it's like you're the one that's supposed to be here to train these generations of like lost people. And they may deem you as the, I don't know, the black sheep, whatever you want to call it. But the black sheep is beautiful, really, and profoundly different. And it's difficult, sometimes to walk that path, especially with family. And I don't know, maybe your old friends, they may not understand. They may say, oh, well, you're the person with the tinfoil hat and blah, 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 blah. But you are just one of, what if you're just one of these elite, one of God's chosen? And, that's just naturally what that is. Let me see where this thing is. Yeah, I'm going to just leave it like that. But yeah, what if, not just what if, but, you are, because, you feel things that are different. And at it gets to a point where you were trying to, maybe you go to your work, and maybe you're like low key with it, and you try to just, you try your best to fit in. But you could feel these people's emotions, their thoughts. You can tell who they are. It's like that movie, Lean on Me. You're like Joe Clark. You're like, the enemy's here. The enemy's, So these people to you are the enemy, because you can, you can just, because you just know who they are, what they are, and you know what they're about, and you really and truly. Hey, what's going on, ma'am? How are you? You be traveling and going all over the place, like for real, man. But yeah, so we're talking about the Dead Shall Rise, and the it is very important and substantial that yeah, it's all good. Just getting through the summer, yeah. So because you're about to be propelled. You're not about to be, but you're being propelled to greater things. That's just what it is. There are people that are watching, and people that wish that they were like you, that were charismatic. I just restarted my podcast, and when it was just like riding a bike again. I blew myself away. I really did. When I did it, I blew my, cause yeah, right. You got to give it all away, man. Those old negative thoughts. Sometimes easier said than done. I still have them. Like for real, especially when sometimes it's just you that has to do it. Even though like you got a crew around you, but still, when that camera's on, when it's lights, camera, action, that is you. That's right there. That's in front of everything. You're the face that runs the place. Those cameras are center focused on you. They're snapping on. Uh they're snapping on you. Right then I was watching video with like Chance the Rapper and Denzel Washington, and Denzel was like he didn't know how popular Chance the Rapper was, so they stepped outside and the people was going crazy and stuff for both of them, and Denzel was a little shocked by that. So you're gonna catch people off guard. You may be traveling somewhere. If you have some kind of internet presence, because you never know. You never know who's watching. You never know when they're watching, and you never quite know who's you never know quite know who's checking out your videos. And if you are checking my videos out, don't forget to subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. So, but things are not going to be as mundane as they once were before. Things are really and truly not going to be things are not going to be as mundane, and you never know who you're inspiring, you never know who you're elevating. You might never talk to these people. You might never, you might just get a random email one day just saying, "Oh man, been watching you for I don't know months or years, and I'm so thankful." These people might, like, "Hey, I was thinking about taking my life," and blah blah. And it's something that you said. It's something how you were so bold that you showed up. There's something about you. It was just something about you that I connected with. That's the thing. You're a connector of the people. You're a connector of the people. People are going to be in awe of, like, how do you do this? How do you, like, how do you get people to how do you get people to just follow you without even saying it? It's like people just it's like the Bible. Take up your cross and follow me. So it's like these people just pick up their stuff and they just follow you, man. Really, it is so miraculous. It's like you do it. It's like what you do effortlessly, really and truly. It's like what you do. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start doing it. It's like what you do. It's like what you do effortlessly, and people look at that, and they're really and truly going to be blown away. They look at you like, man, you're taking another trip. And it's almost like they're saying, like, man, I wow. Some people, it's like you're gonna it's like the trips that you're gonna be taking, you might just deem them as a, yeah, I just saved up and we booked the trip and we went. People might look at this and say, like, I work how you work. How on earth, or how do you do this? How do you make the time? And blah blah blah. People don't see the effort behind what you're doing. Yeah, no, they don't. They don't know. Yeah, true. They don't. They only can see, like, it's very true. Um, they sometimes, they can only see what's, like, in front of them. They can only see, like, this. You know. Like, if we see somebody who's in shape, and they've been working out, I don't know, like 5 6 times, they go to the gym 7 days a week, and we don't see that. But when we see them, it's like they're just in this amazing, amazing, amazing shape. And you know how it is. But anyway, but you don't see the behind the scenes stuff of the work. And they don't you don't we don't naturally see the behind the scenes stuff of the work that they're putting in. And even in the spiritual, all of the work that, um, God, our angel guides, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, your ancestors, whoever else you work with, all of the time and energy, and the time, in the time that you put, that the time that you're putting into, uh, this as well. People, people don't see that, man. They really don't. And again, that's just, that grace falls upon you. It's almost like that. It's almost like grace is about to equal action. I'm getting, like, the stuff. You're being activated. You're going to be, um you got something coming up, like, very, very, very soon. You got something coming up. There are offers that are going to be put on the table for you. So yeah, so you have offers that are being put on the table for you, like, right now. And this is a great reward for you, man. And this is not the only thing that is coming. They're not revealing everything right now, but they're saying that you are going to be immaculately, uh, grateful, surprised. You're going to be really engaged. You're going to. That's why we're talking about, in a dead shall rise. You're going to be, like, fulfilled, and you're going to be happy. Like, you're going to really just be happy again. Not just like hanging around friends and family. Like, your life, like, you're really and truly. People may say, "Man, we haven't heard from you in a while. We haven't seen you in a while." That is because you are. It feels like, a rocket ship. I remember this old movie. I think it was called The Rocketeer back in the day. It was like, I think it was about Disney. But anyway, they're about to. It's like they're about to strap a rocket. Um, yeah. So it's like they're about to strap a rocket to your back. So, they're about to strap a rocket to your back, so that so that you can take off. This is the takeover. You're This is the takeover. In your life. You're going to see yourself. People shop online, and it's almost like you're going to be able to walk into the store, and the store shuts down just for you. Like, these big time celebrities and business people, they walk into the store, and they'll shut the store down because they know they have it like that. They're going to know who you are. And it's almost like they're going to, like, hey, you want to just start an account here, and we can send some stuff over to you, so you can, try it out, and whatever you don't like, some of the stuff you can keep, and whatever. So, because they know that, your name, your brand, your there, it's like that old life, like, this bottle is empty. You know, it's like that old life. That's the best way I could. It's like that old life that you used to live. That life is empty. That person was, you know, that person wasn't ready. They were, you know, they were immature. They thought they were ready. They would have, you know, they would have messed that opportunity up for you. And anyway, but the you, you know, the you that is now, you're ready to go. You're ready to go, and you're ready to like proceed forward. Yeah, so you're going to like very very soon. You're going to find yourself in the most amazing of company, and these people are going to be like it's almost like when you hear the stories of like for me, like if you hear the old stories of Michael Jordan or Prince or Michael Jackson, and the people that were fortunate enough to either play with them or, you know, do music with them or just hang out with them, you know, it's gonna be like that, and they're gonna be talking about like them, like they're gonna be like, oh yeah, man, you know this, you know, man, we would just hang out and blah 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 blah, and this person was just so, they were just so charismatic, and it's like, you know, sometimes we would just be sitting around hanging out, and they'd be like, "Hey, y'all want to go shopping in China?" Just random, like, and we looking at each other like, "All right, you know," and they'd fuel that private jet up, and man, we were, you know, we would go. They'd make a call, and somebody would make a call for them, and somebody would meet us at the airport, and you know, we'd be shopping in China. You know, that's, you know, yeah. So let's see. MJ's energy has been coming to my mind for the past few weeks. Yeah, Whitney Houston had was coming. Yeah, that energy was coming. I'm getting that song. I want to run to you, but yeah. So yeah, that energy was you know, that energy for me was come, you know, was coming through big time. You know, a lot of people say how we are connected to our ancestors. You know, people say, "Oh, you know, that's evil." Is it? No, no, it's not. We need them. We need that. We need that. If you are, if you are connect, you know, we are connected interdimensionally. Like they come here and go back, come and go back. You know, a lot of that stuff is just in remembrance. You know, and that's just what it is, because we're just connected with them like that, you know, and that's just spiritual, divine, supernatural. That's just what that is, and you know, we can't help that. We don't rebuke that. You know, we open we you know, when we cry out, when we pray, you know, God hears us. You know, our angel guides hear us. Jesus, Joshua hears us. The Holy Spirit. So you know, we're just connected like that, man. You know, and that's the thing. For a lot of people, that's forbidden. For us, that's just truth, and that's just how we walk. That's how we roll. That's what that is. A lot of people can't. A lot of people can't understand it because that's just not life for them. That's not real life for them. They just, you know, they'll probably never get it. You know, like that In Vogue song, "Never Gonna Get It." But yeah, so again, man, so the dead shall rise. So things are miraculously rising. Things are miraculously rising in your life. I call it your spiritual IQ is really, and you know, your spiritual IQ is really and truly rising. The things are you know, how you, your wisdom, how you're perceiving things, how you're moving, how you're talking, all of that. You know, the time that you have to yourself, how you're using it wisely. You know, all of that stuff is all of that all of that stuff is beneficial to you in the now and moving forward, and the people that watch you. You know, the people that watch you as well. So Hmm. Yeah, so you are, man, moving forward. You know, you're a shining star now. You really are. A lot of you is very um you're I got the word covert, but you're very humble. You're very humble. Um and that's I think that's a because you deserve you deserve all that you have now, and you deserve all that is coming. Like people would like probably would you know do some interesting things just for the peace that you have in your life, and how you're just able to move from one thing to the next and implement and move away from stuff, and how your obedience, like if you hear something, you get it, and you're on it. You move certain things out of the way so that you can be so that really and truly in the now that you can be center focused. And that's just that's just how that's just really and truly how that is. And a lot of people, no, it takes people probably a long time to get there, but took you you can look at stuff and you can understand how to get there within a shorter distance, really and truly. And they're just gonna be people, yeah, like that Brandy song, "I Want to Be Down." There's just gonna be people clamoring for your time, just really like, oh man, I can't believe I'm sitting in a meeting with, you know, I'm like, man, I cannot, I can't believe I'm in it. You're gonna be like, man, I can't believe I'm, and it's just gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be real interesting. But again, you deserve it. You really and truly do. It's been, I know for me, it's been a long road, man. Whew, my goodness. It has been a very long and very long and interesting road. Has it all been fair? Of course not. But hey, here I am, still moving, still grooving. So think it's time for an energy reading. Yeah. For real. I know. But yeah, please take advantage of this the full moon that's still out there. The weather here has been crappy, so this morning was the only time that I could really get a chance to look up in the sky and see it. So hopefully I'll be able to check it out again tonight. But it's Friday. Happy TGIF out there, everyone. Ooh, yeah, yeah. But it's yeah, but we want to get to the fun stuff, man. Like for real. We just really I think that's for right. Oh yeah, and it's Friday the 13th. Almost yeah. So full moon Friday the 13th is Friday. So, yeah, go yeah. Use that, man. Like, use all of that. Like for real. I remember I used to watch those Jason movies back in the day, and like, that's Friday the 13th. Everybody stay inside and hide. But we know better now. We have a greater understanding about, I guess, the numbers and and all of that stuff. But the numbers will be adding up, and they will be adding up very, very, very fast. I'm getting that life of if you have been secluded, and if you feel like you've been secluded, that things are really and truly about to miraculously open up for you. Like things are really and truly about to miraculously open up for you. Feels like school is in session. It's a lot of new that's it's things have been ordered. Things are ordered in your life, and things are ordered in your life in the now. So, that's just that's just naturally what that is. But alrighty, folks, I'm going to go ahead and shut her down. I'll probably holler at y'all sometime over the weekend, probably Sunday. But but all right, thank y'all for joining me. And remember, the dead shall arise. A lot of things are going to be supernaturally happening around your life. So, so just be on the lookout for all of the amazing things that are going to come your way. And congratulations on your growth. Also, man, that's important. We have to, sometimes we just got to pat our own self on the back. But all right, y'all. But as always, I'm out this peace. Peace. Thanks for joining me, ma'am.